It's now just after 1 p.m., so we'll get started, even as people continue to join. We're going to begin today with remarks from Mary Lynn, Regional CEO of the American Red Cross Michigan Region. Mary Lynn will be followed by Jamila Wilson, Blood Donor Services Account Manager for our region. And we're also pleased to be joined by Mariana Sadowski, whose son Stephen has received numerous blood transfusions during his ongoing treatment for cancer, and who is actually joining us from the Children's Hospital in Detroit today. So with that, Mary Lynn.
Okay, thank you, Alicia. And let me first start with welcoming everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today on this September 11th, which is such a historically significant day in our country's history, for this important announcement and call to action. As the single largest blood supplier in the country, being able to collect enough blood donations to meet the needs of patients in Michigan and across the country is vitally important to our mission at the American Red Cross. The people who need this life-saving blood are accident and burn victims, heart surgery and organ transplant patients, and those receiving treatment for leukemia, cancer, or sickle cell disease. You've heard us say again and again that the need for blood is constant, that every 2 seconds, someone in this country needs blood. Well, today, we are announcing that the American Red Cross is in fact experiencing a national blood shortage. Our national blood supply has fallen by about 25% since early August. A combination of factors resulted in this reduction in donor turnout. First of all, it has been one of the busiest travel seasons on record, with nearly half of adults reporting they plan to travel even more than last year. Secondly, many families are involved in back-to-school activities. And finally, it's already been an active hurricane season. In fact, Hurricane Idalia further strained the blood supply with blood drive cancellations and reduced blood and platelet donations in affected areas in the Southeast. These factors are the reason that our blood product distributions to hospitals are outpacing the number of blood donations coming in. And distributions of some of the most needed blood types to hospitals have been reduced in recent weeks. We want to reassure the community that the Red Cross is working with hospitals around the clock to meet the blood needs of patients. However, we can't do it alone. We need the public's help and the generosity of blood donors. That is why we are issuing an urgent call to action for blood donations now and through the fall. Having a sufficient blood supply is critical to patients having access to life-saving blood transfusions. So to make an appointment to donate, you can do so in one of 3 manners. First, you can use the Red Cross Blood Donor app, or you can go to redcrossblood.org, or thirdly, you can call us at 1-800-RED-CROSS. So with that, I'd like to pause and turn it over to Jamila for other important details. Jamila, over to you, please.
Thank you so much, Mary Lynn. Again, my name is Jamila Wilson, and I'm a Donor Services Account Manager for the Michigan region. Every day, the Red Cross needs to collect about 12,500 blood donations to meet the needs of our patients at about 2,500 hospitals and transfusion centers across the country, including Michigan. As Mary Lynn mentioned, the impact of Hurricane Idalia was significant. It caused hundreds of blood and platelet donations to go uncollected, which compounded of a shortfall of about 30,000 donations just in the month of August. For so many patients with urgent medical care needs, the need for blood doesn't stop for disasters or busy travel seasons. Donations of all blood types are urgently needed now, but there is an emergency need for platelet donors and type O donors. Platelets are key for clotting components of our blood needed for cancer patients and patients having surgery. In fact, nearly half of all platelet donations are given to patients undergoing cancer treatments. About 2/3 of the children diagnosed with cancer will require a blood transfusion at some point during their treatment. Type O is the most common blood type, and O negative is the universal blood type needed for emergency transfusions. Other patients that rely on life-saving blood donations are those living with sickle cell disease, which is the most common inherited blood disorder. Sickle cell impacts more than 100,000 people across the country, most of whom are of African descent. Regular blood transfusions are critical to them managing their extreme pain and life-threatening complications. September is actually Sickle Cell Awareness Month, a time to raise awareness about sickle cell disease and boost access to matching blood products for patients living with sickle cell. Sickle cell patients may require as many as 100 units of blood every single year to maintain their quality of life. And without these transfusions, a person's blood doesn't flow normally, putting them at risk for severe pain, tissue, organ damage, anemia, and even strokes. We know that blood donors who are Black are almost 3 times more likely to be a match for the blood most needed. Whether you are a sickle cell patient, a cancer patient, or an accident victim, the blood that runs through our veins can ease the suffering of others. Giving blood is truly a selfless act. It doesn't take long, just about an hour. And in that 1 hour, you can actually make a huge impact on someone else's life. Throughout September, all those who come to give have a special incentive as well. An email coupon for a free haircut courtesy of Sports Clips, or you could be entered to win for a chance to win a VIP NASCAR racing experience. You can also find more details at redcrossblood.org/race to give. Also, those who give between now and September 18th will receive a very limited edition Red Cross t-shirt while supplies last. In closing, if you are eligible to donate blood, please do. Your generosity could be life-saving. You're only donating 1 pint of blood, and your body holds about 10 to 12 pints of blood. And your body is really, really smart, and it replenishes it right away as soon as you donate. So I believe God gave us extra blood for a reason, and that's to share, and people should. And with that, I would like to introduce Mariana Sadowski. Mariana is joining us from the hospital, actually, where her son is now. Stephen is receiving treatment for cancer and has received numerous blood transfusions during his ongoing treatment. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mariana.
Thank you, Jamila. You're right. I am here at Children's Hospital. My name is Mariana Sadowski, and my son is Stephen Hohauser. He's had neuroblastoma for the last 7 years. And in that time frame, he has had numerous numbers of blood transfusions and platelet transfusions. Pediatric cancer is one of the largest consumers of blood transfusions and platelets compared to the adult cancer world. So I try to do blood drives at least once a year, if not twice a year, in honor of my son and other kids who are sick with cancer and sickle cell kids and just everybody that needs it, because it doesn't discriminate, and everybody needs blood transfusions and platelets, unfortunately, in this world. So the more that we can get people to come out and give and to donate, the better off we all are. And it is a selfless act. And my son is alive today because of those who have given. He had a reaction to his bone marrow transplants that required him to have blood transfusions and platelet transfusions daily for about 6 to 8 months. He was getting them daily, sometimes twice a day. So unfortunately, my son was one of those that consumed a lot of the platelets and blood that we had collected. So I'm trying to give back and help those who are in the same position that my son is in. And you don't have to just give for yourself. You give in honor of somebody that you know or that you love that might need it. And it only takes an hour. We have a blood drive going on September 25th. September is Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month as well as Sickle Cell Awareness Month. So our blood drive is, like I said, September 25th in Rochester at St. Paul United Methodist Church from 12 to 6. And there are openings and availabilities. So if you have the ability to give, we're asking to please come out and give, whether it's there at our blood drive or at one of the other ones that are around town, around the state. It's just so important to give and to help save the lives of these little kids and others that need it. So I appreciate your time and letting me do this and speak on behalf of my son and those that need the help. Turning it back to you, Alicia.
Thank you so much for joining us and for letting us know about how it impacts you so directly and for sharing your story.
Absolutely.
We'll take questions if anyone has them. The chat is open, or you can unmute yourself. And that's the next step. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Alicia, it's Mary Lynn. While questions may be teeing up, well, first I want to thank Jamila. Your partnership is so important here at the Red Cross. But Mariana, wow, just hearing your story again, it's so inspirational. Just please give our best to your son, Stephen, through this journey that he is experiencing. You are such a strong mom. As a mom myself, I don't know that I could be doing what you're doing and being so strong and coming to us from a hospital room. Just our hearts and our hugs are with you, and stay strong. You are, and just thank you, and our best to Stephen.
It's my pleasure and my honor.
This is Sarah Mayberry from Local 4. I had a question for you guys. I know you have many regular donors that you rely on heavily, but can you just speak to the fact of needing people to step up and fill the gap when there are disasters like the weather issues we've seen, or, holiday seasons where you may have not as many regular donors and just the need to get new donors to fill that gap?
Mary Lynn, do you want to take this one?
Sure, Alicia, thank you. And Sarah, that's a great question. The need for blood is constant. I know you've heard that from us before, but the need for it is even more critical and urgent right now. There's a lot happening across the country. As I said, it's been already an incredibly active disaster season. And when these things happen, when these activities happen, of course, blood drives are canceled, as they should be. And so that's why we are reaching out, because we have seen the drop in donations come through. And that's why we just wanted to reach out and remind everyone that it doesn't take very long. It's just that hour. And the actual blood donation process, within that hour, is even much shorter, 10 to 15 minutes. And, by rolling up your sleeve and donating blood, you have the ability to save lives. And that's really what it's all about. That's what the American Red Cross does. That's our mission. And that's the honor and privilege that we have. So, Sarah, I hope that answered your question.
Yes.
Wonderful. Do we have any other questions? I'm not seeing anything in the chat, but feel free to come off mute if you'd like to ask a question. And I think that may just wrap us up for today. We want to say a huge thank you to Mariana, Jamila, and as always, Mary Lynn, for all of your remarks. Please let us know if you do have questions after this. We will have a recording ready. And if you do want to, if you come up with a question, right after this, you can always email us. It's micommunications@redcross.org. And if you have any other needs, please feel free to reach out to either David or myself. Thank you and have a great rest of your afternoon.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.